This is Major Tom 2 Ground Control. I'm stepping out the door with some WildStar knowledge. Today we're going to discuss the magical gun-toting Spellslingers. Do you like guns? Check. Do you like spells? Check. Do you like high-octane acrobatics? Check. Then Spellslinger is the class for you. Spellslingers are the closest class you're going to get in this game to, say, hunters in any other game. They are spell-slinging maniacs with very potent powers and a pair of deadly mag pistols. Mag pistols are a technological marvel that combine laser technology and elemental magic, capable of blasting down foes with fire, ice, and lightning. They are a very frightening weapon to see on the battlefield, and in the hands of a Spellslinger, you might as well wish that you were never born. Spellslingers bring to the battlefield a set of light armor, something that allows them to move around freely in the midst of combat, teleporting and using their void powers to great advantage. Lastly, Spellslingers also utilize their sigils and their void powers to help them get the edge on their opponents, using sigils to help heal their teammates and their void powers to warp about, using teleportation, stunning, and all sorts of unfair things. Unfortunately for them, the Gronuk and the Makari could not take the Spellslinger class. For the Gronuk, I'm assuming it's because they're too big and bulky to pull off the high-octane acrobatics necessary for this class, and no Gronuk would ever be caught dead in the light armor that the Spellslingers have to wear. And then as far as the Makari, have you actually ever heard of a robot successfully casting a spell? They're completely inept at that sort of thing. So, if we want to discuss Spellslingers, it's probably best to discuss what they're good at. I think that'd be a good idea, wouldn't you? Anyway, Spellslingers are best poised to range, DPS, and healing. Healing? Yes, that sounds slightly odd, but trust me, they're pretty damn good at it for space cowboys. Now, the unique feature, the unique class feature or class resource for the Spellslingers is their spell surge ability and spell power. Now, as Spellslingers go along, they recharge a meter called their spell power, and every third of that meter is a sigil. They can activate their spell surge to expend these spell sigils and get an additional effect on any of their abilities. It's actually quite potent and can pack a surprising punch when you aren't expecting it. Furthermore, Spellslingers are pretty unique in that they actually do have a mana bar. It does cost them mana to use their abilities, so you can't spam things mindlessly. You do have to pay attention to what you're doing and pick and choose carefully. Now, I think the thing most of you are interested in, of course, is the DPS role. Spellslingers are perfect for DPS. It's practically what they were invented for. After all, they're running around with 2 guns and that cowboy hat. They must have a lot of shooting to do. So, with a DPS character, you're going to want to take Finesse for the Assault Power bonus, Moxie for Critical Strike and Critical Severity, and Brutality for Armor Strike Through and Critical Severity. 2 stats with Critical Severity, 1 with Critical Strike. You're going to be seeing a lot of critical hits, especially with the rapid fire you can pull off with those twin pistols. Because of a lot of the abilities of the Spellslinger do cone sustain damage or are powerful skill shots, damage is something you're going to be dealing out in spades. Combine that with the high mobility to keep away from more damaging enemies with your light armor. You definitely don't want to be taking the big hits, but since you can jump around, kite people to death, and even disable them for even more potent kiting, you are the kite master. And you can just inflict punishment after punishment while you find your opponents are way too slow to even get a bead on you. With a rifle or swing that gigantic power sword of theirs, they simply cannot touch you. However, there is another path for the Spellslingers, which is of course healing. Yes, Spellslingers are actually very potent healers. They have a bunch of sigils that allow them to do interesting heals over time that affect an area or affect the entire group that they're in. Furthermore, they also have abilities that generate shield absorption for their teammates, which is pretty interesting. If you want to go healing, you're going to want to take gear that increases your insight for your support power, your moxie again for critical strike and critical severity, which will improve your heals so you can critically heal somebody. And if you do deal any damage, you're definitely going to want to deal as much damage as possible rather than just doing pitiful plinks. After all, you are wielding 2 guns, you might want to use them. And finally, technology for deflect and deflect critical. Just in case you do get hit, you want the ability to mitigate that as much as possible. You are wearing light armor, so you don't have much going for you in that department. Every little bit helps. Lastly, your high mobility means getting to where you're needed as soon as possible. You can warp across the field, stunning several people while you're at it, and then get to your teammate who's about to die and heal them with your runes. You will be a valued member of your team, and everybody will love you if you perform the healing role well. And that about wraps it up for the Spellslingers. I do hope you have enjoyed. If you feel like I missed anything important, please let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to learn more about the Spellslinger class, or just more about WildStar, I highly recommend you check out the WildStar wiki by clicking the link in the description, or by going to wildstar.gamepedia.com. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to show us your support, and I'll see you all next time.